This video will contain spoilers from the off, so remember, you've been warned. Season 3 of Ted Lasso has drawn to a close, and it's safe to say that the show went out in a way that I feel we all wanted it to, with happy endings all round. It provided an emotional farewell to the characters that we came to grow connected with over the course of a few years, and within that final season there were many moments that I feel will really live on in the memory of the show. With there being so many of those moments, I thought I'd break down, select, and rank the 5 ones that were the most powerful in the entirety of the final season. So let's get into it. Here are the 5 most powerful moments of Ted Lasso Season 3. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Number 5. Rebecca's time in Amsterdam. Throughout Season 3 of the show, Rebecca underwent a real transformation and grew into the version of herself that she always wanted to be, where Rupert was no longer at the forefront of her mind. Her trip to Amsterdam was where we saw the beginning of this journey, and the transformation being present. The connection that she had with the mystery man that we saw her have, and also the changed mindset that she had when she was sat in the coach at the end, showed that everything that she went through in the city was poignant to the development of the character. We saw an emotional connection and a sense of intimacy that transcended being together in a physical way, and being the very thing that almost cleared her mind. The link that was also there to the signs that the psychic told her about was something that allowed us to really keep engaged with what was unfolding, and it made us question if he was going to come back towards the end. Episode 6 felt like some of the most screen time that we had with the character throughout Season 3, and the excitement, rawness, and clear change of direction was so powerful to watch. We saw a light Rebecca after what occurred in Amsterdam, and it really started to allow a better version of the character to flourish. Number 4. Roy's speech. Roy and Keely's relationship and the uncertainty of if they were going to get back together before the end was something that was a key part of this final season. We saw Roy make the decision to break up with Keely right at the beginning of Season 3, in Episode 1, and there was an immediate sense of regret, as if to say that he shouldn't have done it at all. This was extremely present in Episode 2 of the show. It was a moment where inside of Ted's office we saw Roy give off a powerful monologue about his time as a player. He mentioned his feelings towards the end of his time at Chelsea, and that he felt as though he wasn't good enough and that he left the club in a shock, abrupt fashion. But after returning there on the day which we saw in the episode, he said that he wished that he had stayed there longer, far longer than he did, and just enjoyed himself, rather than thinking it was the end. This might not seem powerful, but in this instance he was relating that situation to his relationship with Keely, and the fact that he decided to step away from somebody that he truly cared for, because he was fearful over the fact that they wouldn't be good enough for each other due to the attention that they were putting into their careers. But in hindsight, he wished he had have just stayed with her and enjoyed being with her, because there was nothing else that would have given him the same feeling as being with Keely, and it was so clear to see that it was one of his deepest regrets. It's rare to get a moment from Roy which has emotions embedded throughout it, and something else being used as a metaphor for what he truly meant, but this moment definitely deserves to be in the top 5. Number 3. Coach Beard and Henry. An underrated moment in this final season, but one that has stuck with me long in my mind since it occurred, was the scene that we saw in the pub garden between Coach Beard and Henry. With Henry visiting London due to his mother and Jacob going to Paris, we saw Henry see that his father wasn't in the best mental state that he had been in, and was feeling the divide that was present between the both of them. This was something which was amplified even more when there was the shot of Henry looking over at Ted on the bench on the phone. It was here where Coach Beard sensed that Henry was feeling a little distant from his father, and also the burden of his parents' divorce was present in his own mind. This was where Coach Beard supported Henry in telling him the origin story of the song Hey Jude, which was being played by the busker, which allowed Henry to relate to the story, and it ultimately rounded off with Ted joining them back at the bench, and they were all singing it together, embracing one another, and truly being as one. With Rebecca telling Ted how he needed to stop thinking about the past as it was preventing him from being in the present with his son, it was what marked the beginning of the positive mindset in Ted's mind and what enabled their relationship to strengthen. Number 2. Ted's ending. The moment that was close to taking the top spot but just fell short of being the most powerful was the ending for Ted. The show did have the perfect ending, but the moment just wasn't as powerful as what is in the number 1 spot. What was perfect about the ending for Ted was the fact that he ended up exactly where he wanted to be. All throughout the final episode, we saw just how content he was with the fact that he was leaving the UK and going back home to be with his son, something that was all season in the making. Everybody around him was emotional, but Ted didn't shed a single tear. He knew that what he was doing was right for him, and he was fully accepting that. No longer was he thinking about others, but now he was thinking about his son and the time that he wanted to spend with him, and the closeness that he was now ready to enable himself to have. With Ted looking down the lens and breaking the fourth wall, there was a smile, and it was a moment that showed a sense of completion, and that he was finally happy and content with the position that he was in life. Ted's issues were resolved, and he was free of the burdens that he used to have, and it was so powerful to see. The character that we had watched go on a massive journey of self-reflection and looking inwards was now the person that he wanted to be and spending the time with the people that he loved. Number 1. Ted's breakdown. The moment that's come in at number 1 on this list, and the moment that I think is the most powerful in the entirety of the show, is the scene where Ted broke down in the penultimate episode. We saw so many different feelings and emotions inside of Ted's head that represented conflict over what he needed and also wanted to do. And this was him finally coming to terms with the idea that he needed to make a decision. What made this moment so powerful was the very idea and understanding that we saw that the core of his issue stemmed from the loss of his father all of those years ago, and the fact that he had never properly grieved for him due to his mother just glossing over the cracks. The sense of loss was the very thing that he was worried about experiencing with Henry, and the reason as to why he wasn't getting close to him, because he didn't want to go through that pain all again. We'd never really seen Ted express emotion like that before, and this showed a real vulnerability to the character, and it made you understand exactly what he was going through and the pain that he was in. It translated across the screen so well too, and became a moment that we audience members also felt as well, definitely becoming one of the season's most emotional moments, and rightfully deserving its spot as the most powerful moment in Season 3. There are so many other moments that could have made it onto the list, and they do fully deserve to be there, but it was so hard to whittle them down. A few honourable mentions that were close to making it in were Colin coming out as gay and being accepted by the entirety of AFC Richmond, Sam Obisanya speaking with his father about the troubles that he was going through and the abuse that he was facing, and also Ted and Nate finally reconciling after a season where we saw the both of them being at different sides of the fence following his betrayal. But for me, the 5 that I selected deserve to hold the space of the 5 most powerful moments in the entirety of the season. So, there you have it. The 5 most powerful moments in Ted Lasso Season 3. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What was your most powerful moment? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.